Hi, my name is Derek Garcia with LearnSBOM.com, and today I'll be demonstrating the SCANOSS Python CLI. This is a great command line tool that uses the SCANOSS SCA API to scrape the web for open source details about your project. It also supports dependency declaration and digital fingerprinting to ensure a more full and secure SBOM. SCANOSS Python CLI also can generate several SBOMs, including CycloneDX and SPDX-Lite. I'll be demonstrating today using an Ubuntu server inside a virtual Python environment. We can install the tool using pip. And we can check to see if the tool has been installed using the -h flag. This is a very extensive tool, and although I will mainly be covering the command line usage today, I'll briefly touch upon the package and Docker use. Starting with the scan feature, we can view the full list of commands with the -h flag. As you can see, there's a lot of options, but I'll just be covering the basics. I'm just using a small Maven project to demonstrate today, first using the scan command. In my testing, I came across some 403 errors, and after looking at the source code, my best guess is that the API rate was exceeded, and seeing as there are no additional errors, the request was eventually be able to be processed. After the tool finishes, we can see a SCANOSS SBOM displayed to the standard output. The tool also uses a winnowing algorithm to develop a digital fingerprint unique to the source code. I'll leave a link to the winnowing algorithm SCANOSS uses below if you're interested. Moving back to the scan command, to save the result to a file, we can use the -o flag. In this case, I'm also displaying the results as well. The tool can also scan for dependencies, but requires the use of another open source tool called ScanCode Toolkit. I'll link the documentation below, but we do plan on covering this tool more in depth in the future. But for now, we can install the tool with pip. This is a very large tool, so it will take a minute to install everything. After it's been installed, we can use ScanCode Toolkit via the -d flag. In this case, I'm saving the report to a depscan JSON file and displaying it via JQ. This will run the scan and fingerprinting like before, but then it will search for details about the dependencies. Testing shows a lot of the dependency information comes from the package manager manifest files, such as the pom.xml, requirements.txt, package.json, etc. For example, if I compare these files real quick, we can see that the dependency scan got its information from the pom.xml file, which makes sense since this is a Maven project. If you want just the dependency information, you can use the -dependencies only flag. And like the fingerprinting, this is also available as a separate command. The final major point I'll be covering today is how to generate SBOMs. We've seen the SCANOSS SBOM, but the tool can also generate CycloneDX and SPDX-Lite SBOMs using the format flag. To clarify, SPDX-Lite is just a lightweight version of the original SPDX schema. I will just be generating a CycloneDX SBOM to demonstrate. And we get our CycloneDX SBOM. One thing to note is that the empty vulnerabilities field at the end of the file is a little misleading. The vulnerabilities field is not required by the 1.4 CycloneDX schema, but with further testing, I found vulnerable code that will also return empty vulnerabilities field. My guess is that this is included to ease the use of other vulnerability tools, but the empty field does not mean that there are no vulnerabilities. Much like the SCANOSS workbench we covered a while ago, this is best used for SBOM generation rather than vulnerability detection. That wraps up the demonstration portion of the demo, but there are a few things I'd like to briefly cover since it may be more useful to you. If you are interested in learning more, the documentation is very well detailed to help you get started. First, SCANOSS will use the SCANOSS SCA API to scrape information, but there are many proprietary SCA tools out there that you may have access to. I personally don't have access to one, but if you do, you can access your API using your credentials with the --API URL flag like so. Next, SCANOSS is available to use as a Python package as well. I'll show an example from the GitHub on screen now, but the tool is a great resource for developing additional SBOM tools. Lastly, the tool is also available as a Docker image, which can be run similarly to the regular command line usage. This is useful to kind of include containerization into your workflow. SCANOSS Python CLI is a great command line tool that makes accessing the SCANOSS SCA API much easier. The additional dependencies and fingerprinting support are a great way to ensure your SBOMs are detailed and accurate. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us at LearnSBOM.com.
Thank you for checking out this video. If you really liked it, be sure to check out our other videos right here, and then you can also subscribe right up top here. And again, thank you. Bye-bye.